Fear is stopping you from going after the things you really want most in life. Like, you're kind of stuck. And today, we end that. So you can stop being a bitch and start being a real ass nigga. But you gotta conquer fear. And in this video, I'm gonna show you the one thing you need to do. So finally overcome fear once and for all so you can go after your goals and start living your dreams. We gotta really understand the psychology of fear, or the psychology of why anyone does anything. So Sigmund Freud, he was a coked up pervert, but he's also the father of modern psychology. And he had something called the pain-pleasure principle. What old Sigmund said was that the reason anybody does anything is they're either moving towards pleasure or away from pain. And this is perceived pleasure or perceived pain. So it might not even be real. A lot of times your pleasure is on the other side of fear. You have to go through that fear in order to accomplish your goals. So right now you guys have fear of failure, fear of embarrassment. You got to get past that to make more money, start a business. Some of y'all scared to post online, to riz some hoe. Are you scared of rejection? Right? I'll put that over here. Rejection. So what we have to do is find a way to overcome this fear in order to get to the goal. Now remember, people do anything because of perceived pain or perceived pleasure. So we have to change our outlook on the things that have scared us. What you need to do is, if fear is a problem, you can take a piece of paper, write out what your goal is, what your fear is. Let's say you want to start business, right? Your fear is maybe failure. So here's what I like to do, is I like to run through this exercise. And I say, what's the worst that can happen? I don't try to minimize the fear. Let's maximize the fear. Let's see exactly how bad it can be. And I'll explain why in a minute. Fear. What will happen if you fail? Well, you might lose money. You might get embarrassed. You might waste time. So you want to tackle these one by one. Let's say you lose money. You need to think, is this something that you can handle? If I'm talking to somebody, I mentor a lot of people, and I would say something to them like, okay, so what's the worst thing that happen? They'll say, oh man, I'll lose money. Oh, well, let's take that one. I say, how much money would you lose? All your money? Right? And I try to make it worse as possible. And then they'll typically say, well, not all my money, but how much money would you lose? And then they'll tell me some number. And I'll say, remember, I'm trying to make it worse. Is that something you'll ever be able to financially recover from? And they'll say, well, yeah, I'll be able to financially recover. Okay, how long will it take you? Will this be like years of financial ruin, decades? Like, how bad would it be? Right? Because I'm trying to make it worse. Maybe like a few months, a year at the most. Okay, a few months, a year at the most. Let's say it's a year. What would that mean for you? Are you not going to have enough food to eat? How bad is it going to be? And then they'll probably say something, oh man, I just won't be able to buy Gucci belt or some shit, right? So I'll be like, okay, so are you saying you will be able to handle this if the worst happens, or you won't be able to handle it? And they almost always say, yeah, I'll be able to handle it. It'll just be tough. I'm like, now we've gotten to the root of this. Oh, cool, boom. We can handle you losing some money. So we can scratch that off. All right, what about getting embarrassed? What's that gonna mean for you? Like, how embarrassed would it be? It's gonna ruin your reputation forever? And they'll be like, nah, I won't ruin my reputation forever. Well, what will be the effects of it? I just will feel bad. And they'll be like, oh, well, like it won't really affect my life at all. And then I'll be like, oh, so you're saying it'll just be like a feeling that you don't like, but nothing tangible. Can you handle that? Can you deal with that? And they're like, yeah, I can deal with it. It'll just be tough. Like, all right, cool. So boom, we can scratch that off. And then we go to wasting time. What would that mean for you if you waste time? How's that gonna fuck up your life? Again, remember, I'm trying to make it worse. You need to do this with yourself. I'm trying to make it worse when I'm coaching somebody. And they were like, nah, it'll just be like kind of a setback. It'll slow me down trying to accomplish my goal. Like, how much will it slow you down? Like, will you be able to fucking do it or no? Like, yeah, I'll still be able to do it. It'll take longer. How much longer? And it was like, whatever, they'll say some fucking number that doesn't mean anything. It's like, how big of a deal is that on a scale of 1 to 10? And they would typically say, oh, it's not a big deal, and that won't be a big deal. Cool, so we can take our wasting time. You can do that with almost all your goals. What we're trying to do is, by really putting it in perspective, we're trying to put it in perspective, because remember, people move away from perceived pain and towards perceived pleasure. I'm trying to change your perspective on it, and that's what you need. You need to change your perspective on it so you can get over here, because if we can change the perspective, then you find the right tool, we can make this not as big of a deal. And now this thing that was a big deal is a small deal. And that's enough for you to step over, because we put it in what? We change your perspective, the way you look at it. Like if I'm looking at something like this, it looks huge. But if I put it way over here, it's like not a fucking big deal anymore. You have to change your perspective on the fear. And you do that by running through these questions. How bad will it be? Like really, how bad would it be? What is that going to mean for your life? And can you handle it? Ask yourself those 3 questions. Now, every once in a while, you're going to come up with something and you're going to say, how bad it can be? How's it gonna affect your life? Can I handle it? And the answer is going to be no. No, should I put all my money on the Miami Dolphins winning the Super Bowl this year? If that hits, man, I'm gonna be rich. A fucking trillionaire. What's the worst that can happen? I lose everything. How's that gonna affect my life? Probably gonna go to jail because I can't pay child support. Can I handle it? No. So we don't do that. And when you get in one of those things, you just don't do that thing. Fuck that shit. Let's move on to something else. And the beauty of that is now you're not stressing over it. You're like, oh, I'm just not gonna do that. Can't handle it. It's fine. But most things you can handle. Starting a business, posting online, you just host shit, right? But once you run through this exercise, what's the worst that can happen? How's it gonna affect my life? And can I handle it? Boom. Now the fear is not gone, but it should be minimized. And it should be enough for this guy to step over it and move towards what he wants to go, to actually go for it. It's a very effective strategy. Like I've seen people who were fucking scared, sweating like a whore in church. They were scared to do something. But once I run them through this exercise, then they feel braver. It's like, okay, I can handle it, right? It changes their perspective. And that's what you need to do. Now, that doesn't mean you'll succeed. And because it doesn't mean you'll succeed, we have to take another step. Okay, now that we know what the worst that can happen, and we know that we can handle it if it happens, now we need to make a game plan to make sure the worst that can never happen. How do we do that? Again, we can go back to our list. We'll go over here, right? Fear of failure, embarrassment, rejection, lost time, right? Losing money, right? Just failure in general. How do we make sure we don't fail? This is when we need to make a plan. You might have seen me do this analogy before in the past, but you still watching videos on how to get rid of failure, so it obviously didn't work for you. Shut the fuck up and do it this time, bitch nigga. So what you're gonna do is, imagine there's a bug in your house. In your house, not mine. He's chilling. He's chilling on some dirty dishes, fucking bug bitches, starting a family, a happy family in your home. What most people do, they do the equivalent of, maybe trying to swat it. Try to swat this bug, maybe to throw a chancleta at it, you know what I'm saying? Right, they'll do something like that, try to swat it. The problem is you might miss. But what if we bomb the building? I know I'm a fantastic artist. Try not to get distracted by that. We drop a bomb on the building. We definitely killed a bug. And maybe a bomb is too excessive. Maybe we fumigate the building. We killed a bug. And what this example illustrates is most people do what they think is required to accomplish the goal. What I want us to do is put in enough effort to make failure impossible. So we need to make a plan, not to accomplish the goal. We need a plan to make failure impossible. Let me give you another example. A lot of y'all know I play guitar and a variety of other instruments. I had this gig where the singer was paying me to play guitar for her at the show. And I wasn't familiar with the music. It was a lot of different chords that I wasn't as familiar with, like jazz chords that were kind of, they had some complexity. I went to my guitar teacher at the time and we was running through the set, and it was taking me a while to get it, but then I got it and I was excited because I got it once. He said, listen, Brandon, I'm excited for you that you got it. You got it that time. Amateurs practice till they get it right. Professionals practice until they can't get it wrong. Like instead of practicing till you get it right, you practice till you can't get it wrong. And that's how I practiced that. And obviously it was an amazing show. We need to come at this with that same sort of ferocity. What kind of effort will we have to put in to make sure we don't fail? And then you would need to make that plan. How do you make that plan? I think you need to write out everything that you need to do to accomplish that goal. And when you're making a plan, there's two types of tasks. There are one-time tasks and recurring tasks, right? So let's say you want to start a business. One-time tasks are get LLC. Maybe you get IEN number, EIN number, set up bank account, shit of that nature. Recurring tasks are prospecting, lead nurturing, filming ads, right? Because if you want to be making creatives all the time, it's gonna be different for every business, right? Posting to social media. These you have to do all the time, probably every day. And now we need to plan this out. So with the one-time task, all we need to do is set a date for these, right? We set a date when we want these accomplished, and when, most importantly, when we're going to do them. So you want to think about how long is it going to take you to do LLC? Fucking 30 minutes, right? EIN, fucking 30 minutes. Then you got to wait for it to come. Set up bank account, fucking few hours. Walk to the bank, set up bank account. Once you get your EIN and LLC and your articles of incorporation, boom, little shit like that. When you're going to do it, and then put that in your calendar. And then these recurring tasks, these need to be in your calendar all the time, right? So if you look at my calendar, I plan every hour of every day. This is what it looks like for the month. the month view. Every hour is accounted for. This is tomorrow. Boom. There's like just a little bit of white space, but I'm gonna fill that up tonight. You know what I mean? Because I plan every hour of every day. Think about how much more you get done if you choreograph your life like that. How much more effective you'd be. You can use a tool we have called the Victory Vision Planner. So the Victory Vision Planner is a free Notion template. I use this myself and I made it available for you guys. Let's check this out. So it's filled with dummy data, but you put your goal here, then you put all the tasks related, all the one-time tasks related to your goal here. And the beauty is you can put a date on it. You can add whole notes to this shit. This is dope. And then you can do that for all your tasks. And then what we have here is month. Now you got the date. You can see everything you got to do for the month, this month. So you put that in your actual calendar. You put it in your calendar when you're going to do these things. And mostly of your success is going to come from your daily tasks. And that's in the success tracker. This is dummy data you're about to see. And you can add to this, right? But you can ask how many hours you worked on your goal, what day of the week it is. And then I have some other stuff in here for your calories, because you probably got fitness goals too, right? Your calories, your burn, if you worked out, blah, 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 how much money you made. And then we have a dynamic chart that populates like how much money you made each day. This is your weight. So it's dynamic. It moves with what's in here. That's free. The link is in the description. Think about what we did. First we minimized the fear of the worst that can happen. Then we made a plan that if we accomplished it, it would be impossible to fail. If we did everything in the plan, it would be impossible to fail. Then we put that plan in writing on our Victory Vision Planner. And we put all the steps in the calendar. Once you've done that, how much fear do you think you'd have? Like probably way less, because you got a rock solid plan at this point, and you can handle the worst. If you do these things, I promise you, you will not have almost any fear. And if you do have fear, it won't be enough to stop you from going after your goals. You can download the Victory Vision Planner for free, and there's another video on how to use it better somewhere around here, and how to use your calendar better to accomplish your goals, all right?